In 1999, 15-year-old Rachel Barber was a rising star, a promising dancer training at the Dance Factory in Melbourne. She was loved and admired by many, but one person's admiration for her crossed the line into a deadly obsession. Reed Robertson, a 19-year-old who had spent time babysitting Rachel and her siblings. Robertson, plagued by low self-esteem, saw Rachel as everything she wasn't. To her, Rachel was a picture of perfection, with her clear pale skin, hypnotic green eyes, and a budding career in dancing. In stark contrast, Robertson saw herself as a pizza face, with brown oily hair and no coordination. On February 28, 1999, Robertson orchestrated a lethal plan. She invited Rachel to her apartment under the pretense of participating in a psychological study, promising her $100. The following day, Rachel, unaware of the gruesome fate that awaited her, arrived at Robertson's apartment. This case that rocked Melbourne in 1999 involved a horrifying blend of obsession, jealousy, and deception. The shocking murder of 15-year-old Rachel Barber, a promising dancer and model, by Reed Robertson, a woman who was once a trusted figure in her life. This was no ordinary case of jealousy gone too far. Robertson didn't just want to be like Rachel. She wanted to assume her identity, erase her existence, and supplant her in every way. The evening before Rachel Barber's demise, Reed Robertson, a trusted babysitter and family friend, concocted a scheme to lure the innocent teenager into her trap. She called Rachel with an offer she believed the young girl couldn't refuse: participate in a psychological study and earn a quick $100. The caveat: she had to keep the meeting a secret to protect the study's integrity. Unbeknownst to Rachel, this seemingly innocent proposal was the cornerstone of Caroline's meticulous and deadly plan. In a haunting entry found in Caroline's journal, her cruel intention was laid bare. On the way to dance school, say that she can't tell anyone that she's meeting me, as I'm not allowed to give the study results to anyone. Ethics: highly confidential, not even your boyfriend or parent. Drug Rachel, toxic over mouth. Put body into army bags and disfigure and dump somewhere way out. Rachel, unsuspecting, went along with Caroline's plan. She left her dance class around 5:45 p.m. to meet Caroline, promising her father to meet him at the tram terminus by 6:15 p.m. Caroline had successfully exploited the teenager's trust and naivety. Upon arriving at Caroline's apartment, they shared pizza, which court documents speculate may have been drugged. As part of the psychology study, Caroline convinced Rachel to meditate, asking her to envision happy and pleasant things. As Rachel closed her eyes in relaxation, the cord of a telephone became the instrument of her demise at Caroline's hands. For 2 unsettling days, Caroline kept Rachel's lifeless body hidden in her apartment's wardrobe. The telephone cord still wound around the young dancer's neck. Even when her father visited her, she managed to keep this grim secret by discouraging him from entering the room. Eventually, she moved Rachel's body to her father's rural property in Kilmore and buried it in a shallow grave. The body was only discovered 2 weeks later, on March 13, 1999, when Caroline informed the police of its location. The autopsy revealed that Rachel had been drugged with an antihistamine that impaired alertness before being strangled with a cord. Following the murder, Caroline started planning her new life as Rachel. She applied for a large loan, made inquiries with V-Line trains, and even applied for a birth certificate in Rachel's name. However, investigators had already begun connecting her to Rachel's disappearance through phone records. The psychological aspects of this case were as chilling as the crime itself. Mr. Michael Crudson, a psychologist treating Caroline in jail, relayed a disturbing account of a moment when Rachel's fate hung in the balance. Caroline disclosed that there was a brief moment when she didn't want to go through with her plan, but a strange inner voice convinced her she was in too deep and had no choice but to proceed. This lifting of a veil only added another layer of eeriness to the tragic incident. Caroline Reed Robertson was diagnosed with a deeply ingrained personality disorder, a condition that Judge Vincent believed significantly contributed to her heinous act. He also emphasized that Rachel would have had no reason to suspect the terrible intentions of a person she knew as a family friend and one-time babysitter. Disturbing details about Caroline's unhealthy obsession with Rachel were unveiled as the investigation unfolded. A journal found in Caroline's possession depicted the dark workings of her mind, revealing a plot to drug and murder Rachel. It also contained sketches of Caroline, alongside derogatory words describing herself as ugly, fat, and a social failure. This self-loathing gradually shifted into an obsession with Rachel, with Caroline detailing how she planned to take over Rachel's identity. Caroline lured Rachel to her apartment with the promise of $100 for participating in a confidential psychological survey. Once there, she drugged Rachel with a laced pizza and then strangled her to death with a telephone cord. Caroline pleaded guilty to Rachel's murder in October 2000, painting herself as an unhappy, friendless nobody who had desired to become someone else, specifically someone like Rachel. According to forensic psychiatrist Justine Barry Walsh, Caroline was profoundly disturbed at the time of the murder, but was not legally insane. She suggested that Caroline might have thought she could reinvent herself in Rachel's image. The prosecutor, Jeremy Rapke, attributed the motive for murder to Caroline's obsession with Rachel, her jealousy of Rachel's attractiveness, popularity, success, and a desire to emulate her. Caroline was sentenced to 20 years in prison with a minimum term of 14.5 years, during which she expressed no remorse. She was paroled in 2015. Rachel's parents, despite their opposition to the parole, expressed hope that Caroline could contribute positively to society upon her reintegration. After serving 15 years of her 20-year sentence, Caroline was released from Deer Park's Dame Phyllis Frost Prison in January 2015. What might be the most chilling detail of this case is the drastic physical transformation Caroline underwent in prison. She altered her appearance to such an extent that when Rachel's mother saw her, she observed an uncanny resemblance to her deceased daughter. The obsession that had claimed Rachel's life appeared to persist even after her death, showing the chilling depth of Caroline's deranged fixation.